Hello and welcome to Salty About Health. My name is Dalaney Algier, and I'm here with my mom and co-host, Mary. So, Mom, why are we salty about health?
Good question. It's because both of us have had struggles, some more serious than others, and no one showed us simple ways we could jump into the driver's seat and take control.
And why are we sharing our views with our listeners?
Well, because we want our listeners to realize that it may take time, but with some simple knowledge about health, they'll be able to make a few changes and dig deeper to take control of their well being and live a more vibrant life.
That's fantastic. But right now, before we get into all of that, we just need to do some housekeeping. Here we go. This is an opinion-based podcast. This is not in any way offered as a diagnosis or treatment for any disease, illness, or infirmity for physical or mental condition or any other condition you may have. We are not doctors or practitioners of any kind. Persons needing medical care should obtain it from a medical practitioner. So, consult your practitioner before making any health decision. The opinions offered here in this podcast are ours alone. Again, we're not doctors, and the banter you're going to be listening to is our view and our view alone. Okay, that's done. We, of course, also want to have an open dialogue with our listeners. So stay tuned to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know all of the ways that we can connect. Welcome, everyone. Today, in episode 19, we will be talking about why it is important to soak and sprout nuts and seeds before consuming them. I didn't even know it was a thing until I talked to my mom the other day, and she said she had gotten some raw macadamia nuts and had to soak them. And I was like, "What are you doing with that?" And she responded, "What? You don't soak your nuts and sprout your seeds?" So when I answered no, she said, "Well, I guess that's going to be the next episode." So, Mom, why do we need to soak nuts and sprout our seeds before we eat them?
Okay, before I answer that question, I want our listeners to know that I pulled information from 3 sites, and those sites are listed in the show notes at saltyabout.health.com. The info is coming from the Radiant Life site, the Healthy Home Economist site, and Dr. Axe's site. Okay, so nuts and seeds can be a great addition to our diet. However, what often goes unrealized is that nuts and seeds can be quite problematic and troublesome to digest when not properly prepared. Raw nuts and seeds have notable levels of phytic acid, a form of bound phosphorus. It is a unique natural substance found in plant seeds and has received considerable attention due to its effects on mineral absorption. Phytic acid impairs the absorption of iron, zinc, and calcium and may promote mineral deficiencies. Therefore, it is often referred to as an anti-nutrient. However, in not such high amounts, phytic acid can also have health benefits. Phytic acid is only found in plant-derived foods. All edible seeds, grains, legumes, and nuts contain it in varying quantities, and small amounts are also found in roots and tubers. We are only going to be talking about nuts and seeds today. Okay, so a few phytic acid foods are, we have almonds, beans, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, lentils, corn, peanuts, peas, rice bran, sesame seeds, soybeans, tofu, walnuts, wheat. So while phytic acid is useful to safeguard the seeds until germination, when eaten by humans, it binds to minerals in the gastrointestinal tract, causing irritation and contributing to potential nutrient deficiencies. Some animals naturally produce adequate amounts of the enzyme phytase to break down this anti-nutrient. However, humans do not, making phytate heavy diets troublesome. So raw nuts also contain a significant amount of enzyme inhibitors, which act to prevent the nut or seed from sprouting prematurely in nature. These enzyme inhibitors can also bind up minerals and cause digestive strain for those who eat them. Most statements extolling the health benefits of raw nuts and seeds are inaccurate, as they fail to take into account the fact that many of the nutrients they contain cannot be properly assimilated in their raw form, making soaking a healthier option.
Okay, so soaking makes them healthier. How does it do that?
Well, yeah, it makes them easier to digest, and the phytates and enzyme inhibitors that make nuts and seeds so tricky to digest can easily be neutralized by soaking in salt water and low temperature dehydrating. The combination of minerals and heat works to break down irritating compounds while preserving the beneficial fats and proteins. Many traditional cultures intuitively practice these preparation methods using seawater and the sun and pass this knowledge down through generations. The tools and techniques of modern science have enabled us to see in an even more detailed way just how profoundly soaking increases the bioavailability of important nutrients, notably the treasured B vitamins, and activates helpful enzymes that increase nutrient absorption. Unfortunately, this tedious process, and actually it's not really tedious, it's actually quite simple, and we'll explain that later, is cumbersome and costly for large scale manufacturers. So to do it yourself is not hard, and has been largely lost amidst the packaged convenient foods available today. And just because it's more time consuming, they don't do it. Yeah. Kind of like when you get your beans, the canned beans, Eden Organic, they're the only ones who pressure cook their beans prior to selling them. So that takes care of the lectins, which can also damage your gut. And we will talk about that probably in another episode. But any other bean, it's not pressure cooked. And if you read again Gundry's book, etc., pressure cooking a lot of vegetables and grains takes care of the lectins, which is damaging to the gut. So it's just, it does come down to the dollar in, big food corporations. So they're not going to do that for you. And if you do find sprouted and soaked nuts or grains, they're going to cost more probably. But the sprouted flour is a great place to go for sprouted grains, and you can buy them online already sprouted.
Yeah. And I feel like the sprouted might be a little easier because they can leave it in the field longer and do other things maybe. So that might be actually a benefit for them, or no?
No, actually they take it out and then they sprout them.
Oh, after. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, I don't know exactly, but it is something that the companies have to do to sprout them. And yeah, it's all about, doing things fast and easy and getting it packaged and out to you. But as you'll see in this podcast, it's really quite easy to soak your nuts and then sprout the seeds. I've had a sprouting kit before, but we'll talk about that.
I mean, yeah, it seems like this. We've talked about how to prepare tomatoes and potatoes so they don't kill you. It just seems that
sounds dangerous.
I know. Yeah, food is apparently so dangerous, and that the traditional cultures, they prepared their food in a certain way for a reason, and it's just as important as the nutrients we're getting from that food.
Exactly. And back then that's what you did. I mean, to live, you had a farm or whatever, and that's what you did all day. You were trying to survive, whether you were canning vegetables or you had fields to tend or animals. And now everything has become so convenient that we've forgotten why, or they've just ignored why we prepared our food the way we did back then. And that can be and I think that's played a role in our health today, mixed with, everything else, the amount of packaged food we eat and sugar, again, sugar being the bad guy. So I read that sprouted nuts and seeds has actually been a common practice places like Eastern Asia and Europe for literally thousands of years. We just kind of, talked about that. In fact, different forms of soaking, sprouting, and fermenting seeds have been a part of almost every culture in one way or another because our ancestors understood the many advantages and health benefits. These can be extremely healthy foods with many nutrients to offer, but this is really only the case when you're able to properly absorb those nutrients, and soaking and sprouting make that possible. So we have to remember that the reason humans suffer from indigestion and autoimmune reactions from unsprouted foods is because we aren't designed to break down anti-nutrients in plant compounds that lock up or deplete vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients. Regularly consuming high amounts of anti-nutrients can significantly impact your health. Luckily, sprouting and soaking seeds can break down anti-nutrients, make the seeds more digestible, and unlock healthy compounds found in them. When you sprout seeds, you can reduce anti-nutrient content like polyphenols, lectins, and tannins by an average of 50%.
Oh, so are tannins bad? Because that's like a big deal in the wine industry.
Not in tea. Tea has a lot of tannins.
Oh, okay. Because in wine, it's like a certain percentage of tannins, and you're like striving for that.
Are you?
I don't know. I thought so.
I know that tannins can be also, tea for people who have kidney stones is not a good thing. They need to not drink black tea, green tea. I wouldn't even drink white tea, depending on, how bad your kidney stones are.
Yeah. And that's the tea leaf, because I think people lump all tea drinks into that, but that's
not herbal tea.
Yeah, herbal teas are different. Yeah.
Okay, so the practice of sprouting takes things even a step past soaking. By completing several cycles of soaking, rinsing, draining, and air exposure over a period of about 3 days, certain seeds will enter a state of germination in which physical sprouts actually appear. This extent of germination is highly beneficial as it not only reduces enzyme inhibitors, but increases the healthy enzyme content sixfold. Sprouting is not possible with all varieties of nuts, however, and occurs far more readily in seeds, legumes, and grains. Alfalfa green sprouts, broccoli sprouts, clover sprouts, mung bean sprouts, and wheat sprouts are popular and easy to sprout in pumpkin seeds. Sesame seeds and sunflower seeds are also good candidates for sprouting processes.
Okay, so soaking seeds in salted water performs the function of increasing digestibility tremendously, and anti-nutrients such as phytic acid are neutralized, which allows increased absorption of minerals and overall improved nutritional value. In fact, if raw seeds are not soaked before eating, the phytic acid will actually block mineral absorption. The mineral zinc is especially vulnerable to blockage by phytic acid in seeds. It has been found that many people who eat a lot of unsoaked seeds are deficient in this critical nutrient, even though they are getting adequate amounts in their diet. They're often surprised to learn that they are not absorbing minerals from raw seeds adequately. So, Mom, let's tell our listeners how to soak and sprout their nuts and seeds.
Of course. Let me begin with how to soak nuts. It's not difficult. Luckily, the process of soaking is essentially the same for whatever type of nut you choose to prepare, although the timing varies slightly to accommodate for differences in fat composition, size, texture, etc. Traditional soaked nuts are made by following these basic steps, which came from the Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon. First, measure out 4 cups of raw, unsalted organic nuts into a medium-sized bowl. Okay, and number 2 would be cover with filtered water so the nuts are submerged. 3, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of unrefined salt. I don't add as much. I stick more to 1. Allow to stand covered on the counter for about 7 hours or overnight. And I usually do overnight because I'm lazy. So then rinse the nuts to remove salt residue and spread out in a single layer on a rack to dehydrate. And I will say sometimes, especially with my walnuts, I just leave them soaking in the fridge and I change the water every morning. Like I'll put in, if I know I'm going to have a half a cup of walnuts, I'll cover them with water the night before, let them soak, and then in the morning it's kind of gross, the water. I just pour it out and put fresh, clean water on there, filtered water, and then I eat those through the day. I don't mind them.
Like wet? Ew, does it make them like spongy?
No, it doesn't make them soggier. They're softer, but it doesn't bother me. So I don't really dehydrate them. And then in the dehydrator, you dry at a low temperature, generally no higher than 150 Fahrenheit, although there are exceptions. So in a dehydrator or oven for like 12 to 24 hours or until nuts are slightly crispy. I do have a dehydrator, as you know, I've had it.
Oh my gosh, it's like, it looks like a spaceship. It's really cool. It's this big black, clear, like opaque, I guess, black thing with like layers.
Yeah.
Very strange looking, yeah.
I don't know what it was called, but yes, it was one of the original. We got it back, it was in the 90s. So, and it still works. So that's what I use. And once you dehydrate them to your preference, you store raw seeds that have been soaked or dried in an airtight container in the pantry or refrigerator. I put mine in the fridge as I store my nuts anyway. If I buy them from the store and I open the package, I always keep them in the fridge anyway. So yes, I do that, but it's simple. It really doesn't take a lot of planning. Again, you can either dehydrate them or just leave them soaked, your preference.
Because it's kind of like, you can also buy beans that are dehydrated and then you have to soak those. So this is, yeah, so if you already do that, then this isn't much of a stretch to also do.
No, beans, though, I think have a longer soaking period, the type.
Yeah, it depends on the bean. It does.
Kidney beans, like lentils, don't have to be soaked. Yeah, kidney beans have to be soaked for a long time and then cooked. I tried that. That was like way too time consuming for me with the beans, because beans are, you want to make sure you actually cook them and they aren't raw, because they can hurt you. Okay. Beans can really, you don't want to eat a raw kidney bean. You remember we talked about the ricin and castor oil and all that. So yeah, raw kidney beans can really hurt you if you also don't. So I will say for beans, I get to eat more organic.
Okay. Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, I have tried to be patient, soak them, and then cook them in a slow cooker. But for me, it wasn't worth it. But I know a lot of people who do, and they turn out wonderful, make great chilies. So there are 2 reasons why it might be preferred to skip soaking a particular seed. First, if the seeds turn into a gel-like substance when in contact with water, attempting to soak them is counterproductive. And we know what does that, right?
Oh, chia seed. Whoa, I have a great a dessert recipe with that, because it like makes the jelly topping. Basically, it's just like,
add that to our show notes.
We should. I haven't made that in a long time. It's kind of complex. Yeah, it is very delicious, but you have to like nuts because they're in every single layer of this like bar thing.
Well, chia seeds are great for a lot of things, and you can just do the full fat coconut milk and put chia seeds in there the night before and have a great, and maybe add things to it and then have a great like pudding in the morning. So, and they're a great thickener. So secondly, if a seed is not a regular feature on the menu, or you will only be eating a tiny amount, then it's acceptable to skip the soak, kind of like sesame seeds are usually just a topping or a very bit. And so most people, seeds, I've always sprouted them. I have a little sprouter, and you can use ball jars to sprout. Soaking nuts that's definitely something you should do.
Yeah. But so some examples of maybe seeds that you don't eat a lot of, and you could skip the soaking. Poppy seeds, if a tiny amount is used, if you make like poppy seed muffins, if you eat a muffin with poppy seeds in it, not a bad thing. Chia seeds, those, like we said, turn to gel in water, so can't do that. Flax seeds do the same thing as chia, so also creates gelatinous mass. Caraway seeds, those have a very distinct flavor anyway, so I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, let me put caraway on everything.
Yeah, well, and you use a tiny amount.
Yeah, it's an aggressive flavor.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's aggressive.
It's great to put in certain stews, like especially winter stews, but you need such a little amount.
It is. It's that like winter flavor that you're like, if you keep missing it and you're just like, oh, like it's that, and you can't put your finger on it, it's probably caraway. And then like Mom said, sesame seeds, which I guess if you make like a stir fry, I use the sesame seed oil in stir fry. And again, that uses a very tiny, tiny amount.
Well, they put it in hummus too. It's called something. The sesame seed when you put it in tahini.
Oh, that's tahini. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, tahini butter is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's acquired.
Some of I like the nut butters that you don't need sugar added to, but
like cashew.
Yeah, but like tahini and actually what's the other ones? Well, sesame seed, sunflower. You kind of need
sunflower butter. I don't like the ones I've found in stores. I don't like, but my college made a homemade version. So who knows what they did to it in the bag, but like I think they just squished up some sunflower seeds. That was good, whatever they did.
Okay, so seeds to always soak are generally used for snacking when a person would eat roughly a palmful on a regular basis will require soaking to enhance digestibility and unlock minerals. So these seeds include sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, sesame seeds if you use them to grind into tahini, which of course is sesame seed butter. Before we go on, let me add something about roasted nuts. Roasted nuts are not the same as gently soaked nuts. Commercially roasted nuts are flash fried in cheap rancid oils, while dry roasted nuts are exposed to exceedingly high temperatures that denature the nutrients and cause the breakdown of fats, increasing free radical capacity. The soaking process is much more careful, involving no destructive heat shocks. And that's why they gave you the temperature prior to this. But you don't want to do it, really hot temperatures.
So also, if someone doesn't have a dehydrator to complete the process, like we said earlier, you can dry out the nuts and seeds at a low temperature in order to preserve the greatest amount of natural enzymes and fragile unsaturated fatty acids as possible. So 150 degrees Fahrenheit is the maximum heat you would want to apply, although temperatures around 110 degrees Fahrenheit are truly best. While dehydrators are ideal for the job, so you could get your own spaceship. If you don't have your own spaceship, it's certainly possible to use the oven for drying. Keep in mind that most ovens come preset with a low temperature of 175 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so you may have to search for the oven manual and figure out how to down-regulate the base temperature. Can you really do that?
You can. I had to do that on something, and it isn't usually in the manual because you know how to set 350. Yeah. But they do go down lower. Some, I think it was because some only go, like it says 175 to 200, and you want 150. Yeah. And I did look that up once, and it actually worked. But you can actually do it online too.
Okay. I mean, that's like water heaters. I didn't realize you could set the temperature for hot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
They
had
have
no
like
idea.
vacation mode and
Well, the vacation mode, like that was, I don't know, to me that was like the temperature for the house and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's just like, we lived in military housing. We didn't get to choose it until I was like in high school.
well, yeah. Well, see, everybody, Dalaney is a new homeowner.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
learning a lot.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so we had to turn it down because the people who owned it before us had 7 children, so I think they wanted to disinfect everything at all times, so they had it on scalding, so we had to turn it down.
Well, your aunt, your grandmother's sister does that when her husband was alive. He had it on scalding, basically, and you had to be careful. So, yeah, definitely. That's funny. I didn't know this. I feel like a bad parent now.
I mean, that's a very specific
I should have made you
thing.
work harder around the house.
Oh my gosh. I mean, most people in their young 20s are in apartments anyways where they can't control it, so it's not your fault.
And you're not in your young 20s anymore. So let's recap. When you sprout nuts and seeds, one of the biggest benefits is that this helps decrease the presence of anti-nutrients. Anti-nutrients are naturally occurring compounds found in plant seeds that interfere with our ability to digest vitamins and minerals within the plants. The problem with anti-nutrients is that once we consume them, they can create a negative reaction in our guts and trigger autoimmune responses, including leaky gut syndrome. This is why many people react badly to eating nuts and seeds, especially if they're not sprouted.
And listen to our leaky gut episode if you want to learn more about that. But okay, so I talked about like the anti-nutrients and everything, but let's go over some other benefits of soaking and sprouting. So to start, one thing is it increases nutrient absorption of B12, iron, magnesium, and zinc, to name a few. And those are all very important, especially to me because I'm usually low in all of those.
Yeah, I've been really muscle testing for B12 lately, and I have a histamine issue, and that's definitely your B vitamins are important to methylate.
Can you, I don't want to say overdose on B12, but I know it's supposed to, it actually has like a mood affecting, like it kind of brightens your mood. Can you take too much of it to where it like makes you crabby again?
I don't know. I'm sure there's research on everything, but B vitamin is water soluble, and when your body doesn't need it, it just kicks it out in the urine.
Okay.
So you just may be crabby because
No.
Don't blame it on the B vitamin.
I just feel like I switched to, because I was doing a B vitamin gummy, and so then I adulted and I did like the little tiny, like just the pill form. But then like the few days that I took it, I noticed that right after I took it, I was like extremely irritable.
Oh, that's probably a food sensitivity. Did you look at the other ingredients?
Oh, okay. No, I will look at that and update everybody.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably got another
Something in
ingredient
it
that you are definitely sensitive to.
Okay.
Because that would make sense.
Yeah, so I stopped taking it because I was like, this is supposed to make me happy and it's making me angry.
You could give it to me and see if I can muscle test on it. Or I would like to see, you can take a picture of it and send it to me. I'd like to see the other ingredients because I know a few ingredients I'm so sensitive to that I won't even buy. I try to get, when I buy supplements, I try to get just the other ingredients, say it's either a gelatin or vegetable.
The vegetable cellulose or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's either one of the two, and I'll take that with no other ingredients is best, or a powdered form, just because that is in the pure ingredient. But I would definitely look at that.
Cool. Okay, we will investigate. Continue.
So it sprouting and soaking makes food easier to digest. For many people, eating nuts and seeds is problematic when it comes to digestion and frequently causes inflammation. So a major benefit of sprouting is that it unlocks beneficial enzymes. these enzymes make all types of seeds, and that's easier on the digestive system. And I know I have tons of digestives for different things. I mean, I'm sensitive to phenol, so I even have one from Houston Enzymes, the no phenol. So if I'm going to do a lot of vegetables and stuff, I do that. So there are definitely different digestives that you can take. So if you have problems digesting nuts and seeds, again, sprouting and soaking them usually makes a world of difference. And if that doesn't help you all the way and you still really want to eat them, certain enzymes, digestive enzymes, can help you.
And in fact, I just got a new digestive enzyme because we were talking about how I was struggling with large amounts of meat, but it has the enzyme in it for that, and it's been helping. So
that's been helping, and that's what I came up with. And you said, yeah, so did you. So Dalaney and I also do intuitive, and when we can't figure things out, we like, okay, let's do intuitive, and we both came up with that one. So I'm really happy that worked out for you. Did you ever tell your best friend about the pancreatic desiccated that she should be taking?
I did. I will have to buy that for her though, because she just kind of blinked at me. So
I just bought some.
Okay.
I'll have to show you. They're really great, and it's just the just the capsule and the desiccated pancreas inside, and that's it.
That's cool. Also sounds kind of creepy. Like you took someone's pancreas, like killed someone for the pancreas, but
actually, animal organs, which we will have to do a podcast on, we've gotten so far away from that. They actually contain basically almost all your minerals and vitamins that you need. So that would be a great multi-mineral if you just took desiccated organs. And as people who don't like to eat them and cook them, then you just buy them in pill form. Because I can't personally stand kidney. I mean, I think it smells weird and tastes weird, but it's great for people with histamine issues like me, so I just take them. But liver, I love liver. I'll eat that. And heart. I like heart too. And cow tongue. You go to the Mexican restaurants, they have really good cow tongue tacos.
It's weird. But then I like haggis, which is all of that.
That is great.
Smushed together.
Right.
So
if you think that other cultures, liver pate, things like that, that's exactly what they did. And they really are essential to good health. But that's another podcast. So Delaney's gonna continue.
Sprouting, not meat. Seeds and nuts. So another thing, it decreases anti-nutrients and phytic acid. As mentioned earlier, sprouting helps drastically cut down on the level of anti-nutrients present within seeds. Anti-nutrients, including phytic acid, have the ability to leach onto minerals and make them unabsorbable by the body. And another study found that sprouted and fermented nuts contain significantly less tannins, another type of anti-nutrient toxin, than unsprouted nuts did. Sprouting the nuts freed nutrients from being bound and unabsorbable, while also improving the nutrient content of the nuts to some degree.
Yeah, okay, so it also increases protein availability, which is really important. We were talking to someone today about how important protein is. Depending on the exact seed that is sprouted, proteins in the form of amino acids can become more concentrated and absorbable in sprouted foods. Some studies have shown that an increase in amino acids, including lysine and tryptophan, can take place when seeds are sprouted. Most studies indicate that proteins become more digestible when the seeds are sprouted. And when a seed begins to sprout, natural chemical changes take place. As a result, enzymes are produced to convert nutrients for the growing plant to utilize. As sprouting continues, complex proteins are converted into simple amino acids, making them easier on digestion. And that's why, a lot of people who are sensitive, well, we are both gluten-free, but people who eat gluten and they do sprouted grains, sprouted bread, much easier on the digestion.
Yeah, that's great. And another thing that sprouting can do is it increases the fiber content. So, several studies have found that when seeds are sprouted, their fiber content increases and becomes more available. Reports show that sprouting increases concentrations of crude fiber, which is the fiber that makes up the cell walls of plants. When we consume plants' crude fiber, the fiber cannot actually be absorbed within our digestive tracts. Therefore, it helps push waste and toxins out of the gut and regulates the bowel movements, mom's favorite subject.
Okay, so let's help out those listeners that think this is a great idea, but have no desire to actually soak and sprout their
I
seeds and
feel
nuts.
you.
Even though we're making it sound like, oh, it's a great thing and easy thing
Oh,
to
it
do.
is great, but I can see myself forgetting to do it, so I'm excited about this.
The good news is you can buy already soaked and sprouted nuts and seeds. Your local grocery store most likely has some. I know Wegmans has wonderful sprouted pumpkin seeds. To me, they taste like fruity pebbles. Yeah, and yet the ingredients are just sprouted pumpkin seeds and salt, don't they? They have the best
They're cool.
sprouted,
They are
yeah,
really
pumpkin
cool.
seeds.
Yeah.
You can also find sprouted nuts at nuts.com, and the healthy flour company, Sprouted Flour, sells sprouted grains and legumes. And they're kind of hard to find on the internet, but I sign up for their email. So, and they have, the prices aren't bad and they have sales and stuff, and they'll send them to you. And they sell other.
I was out to eat the other night and the restaurant TV had a commercial and it was for nuts.com. And I
Yeah,
like did a double take and I was like, really? So that's great. I'm proud of them. So they're on like national television.
it is. They were called something else before. It was kind of like nuts.com, but just a little longer. And I remember about 2 years ago, they changed it to just nuts.com. And I've bought, they are a great website because they're fast and efficient. And I think the prices are fair and you get your stuff in like 2 days.
Yeah. And you can get a lot of stuff
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes like peanut butter, but it's it's actually a root, but it looks like a nut. What is it? Tiger
Tiger
nuts.
nuts.
Tiger nuts, which are they tubers or are they roots?
And this will come out after Christmas, right?
On Christmas.
Episode, because that's what I got your husband again. More, he loves these tiger nuts, and I can find them at one store here. And I ran down, and I got those for him.
Everyone get them if you like peanut butter, but you want something that you can like, because you have to kind
It's
of
a
put them
root.
in your mouth and like let them soften and then chew them, but then it tastes like sweet peanut butter. So if you want something like while you're studying or like on a long drive or whatever, because they're good for you.
Yeah, they're great for your digestive system, for your gut. And they actually have shredded ones too, but I got the little hard ones to make it, so you can just
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like an
gnaw on
adventure.
them. But we didn't talk about sprouted flowers or legumes. So check out the website and see if you can use their products, the one we just talked about when you bake desserts or make chili, because it's a whole different, episode for the flowers and the legumes, really. Yeah. Radiant Life sells a lot of products on their website. You can check them out to get ideas. And of course, you can always find products on Amazon. So I don't think our listeners will have a hard time finding sprouted nuts or seeds.
No, especially if it's on Amazon because Amazon is everywhere and I love it.
They're with their centers, they're where they ship out of are starting to pop up everywhere. In almost every state, I think there's a distribution center.
Which then you also I think I heard a podcast episode somewhere talking about the fulfillment centers and like having to work at them and how it's kind of terrible. So I feel bad. Well, because like they apparently your order goes in and it comes to the person's little handheld thing, and then it has like a countdown, and they have to fulfill your order in like a certain amount of time, and if they don't, I don't know if things explode. I don't know, but like it's bad.
I can tell you, some explosions have gone on because sometimes it's taken a week and a half for me for what they say is a prime.
No, says the angry prime member.
No, it doesn't bother me, but yeah, it does not 2 days anymore.
'Tis the season to feel bad for those people. Anyways, so there are a lot of resources out there to help our listeners to start soaking and sprouting if they would like to. And we have included a lot of that in the show notes. And for those of you who are up for the challenge, take some photos of your soaking and sprouting endeavors, you in action. That would be awesome to see. And we'd love to post them on our social media. And also let us know if by soaking and sprouting you have helped some of your digestive issues that you may have been having.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I really hope our listeners do that. And go to YouTube or somewhere and put in how to soak and sprout seeds, because you'll come up with some really good videos, because they do sell those kits on Amazon. But honestly, if you just have a ball jar and
is it like parchment paper?
Not parchment, but
the wax.
The
clothy stuff.
The cloth that you put over. You just put that over the side. You put these seeds in, you get them wet, and then you drain it, and then you just get them wet every day, and you roll them on the side of a ball jar, and you can keep them in your closet on a counter. I hear they're more bitter if you keep them in the sun, so you kind of want them shaded. And it's so easy. And in 3 days, you have sprouted seeds. And you can do beans. Beans easily sprout too. So it's just so simple, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like your own personal science experiment.
And some people put them in dirt and they grow them, and then they just cut them and they keep doing it that way. I know Dr. Mercola does that. He has like these big sheets of little like alfalfa sprouts or whatever, and then you just cut them and you can eat those.
That's what my farm share always just gives us different types of sprouts, because I think they're doing that. I think they just have a greenhouse full of that.
It's very easy. That's why I really hope our listeners will try, because it is so simple to sprout. It'll be kind of fun to see the pictures.
Can't wait. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And again, we want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear from you guys. Please, please, please reach out to us. And here are just a few ways that you can do that. You can reach out via Instagram and Facebook. Find us at Salty About Health. Even Snapchat at Salty Health. You can email us at saltyabouthealth@gmail.com. Or if you just want to find all that in one place, check out our website, saltyabouthealth.com. We've got all the ways for you to listen and connect there. And finally, if you like what you hear today, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We really appreciate it. So, Mom, if they want to hear from you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I am a certified health coach, and I do coach one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can contact me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. I also do research for people who are interested in finding alternative approaches to do in conjunction with the health issue or illness their doctor is treating them for. So again, just reach out to me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com, or follow me on Twitter at feedyourselfhealthy, which is spelled FEEDURSELFHLTHY. That's where they can find me.
Cool. Okay. And if you guys want to find me, I'm not a health coach, but I'm on Instagram hanging out there at Dalaney.a. Find out how to spell my name in the show notes and everything. And of course, I'll be the one mainly keeping an eye on the social media. So always happy to chat with you guys via the Salty Network. Also, just want to shout out our intro and outro music. It is by Yule. And you can find her at www.yulearts.com. That's EULARTS. You can also find her on Instagram at Yule_arts, or Spotify and YouTube. Check her out. Her piano music and everything else is amazing. And until next time, stay salty.
Stay salty.